Taking advantage of his wife being drunk, the man quietly carried her up to the attic bed, then called in his son, who had been waiting outside. One of them picked up a sharp fruit knife, the other grabbed an airtight sack, and together they slowly approached the woman. The son whispered a goodbye to his mother, then pressed the sack tightly over her head. In the end, Will personally killed his wife, with his son acting as his accomplice. Afterward, the two carried the body outside, but George, the son, fainted from fear, leaving Will to drag the corpse alone to a dry well where he dumped it in. That night, father and son stayed up cleaning the blood. By the time they had erased every trace, dawn had already broken. Will opened the well to make sure the body was still there, only to find that his wife had slipped out of the blankets she'd been wrapped in. Dozens of rats were quietly feeding on her, and that ghastly sight became a nightmare that would haunt him forever. A few days later, a buyer his wife had arranged to meet came by to discuss purchasing their farmland. Will wasn't surprised. He used the story he had prepared in advance to mislead the buyer. He claimed that one night his wife had packed her clothes, abandoned him and their son, and run away. Therefore, the deal they had discussed was now void. He even brought in his son as a witness, but the buyer didn't believe a word and insisted on inspecting the house. Will blocked his way. Although he managed to chase the man off, he knew deep down that the police would be showing up soon. His son panicked and begged to fill the well immediately, but Will knew they needed a proper excuse. Otherwise, it would only arouse suspicion. So, father and son led a cow to the well and tapped on the old cover with a hammer. The rotten boards quickly gave way, and the cow fell in. Now they had a perfect excuse to seal the well shut. Afterward, the two sat quietly on the front steps. Sure enough, it wasn't long before the police arrived. The officer went straight to the wife's bedroom. Will opened the closet himself and explained. They had a big fight that night, and his wife left without saying goodbye, taking some of her favorite clothes and a sum of cash. George echoed his father's words, and the policeman, convinced that a child wouldn't lie, didn't press the matter further.